Between 70 and 90% of people are going to experience low back pain, and that's a frightening statistic. And we're going to just talk about a couple of things today, or move through some things for non-specific low back pain, which is something that happens a lot in a Pilates studio. So there's no injury that's visible, there's no trauma that's happened, it just is a little bit achy. So let's go through some things and see if we can sort that out. What you will need is a towel, because I think it's so important to have it. I have a studio full of equipment that I can use with people, but if you're at home and you don't have access to that, the towel is going to be your favorite friend. So we're going to fold it up so it's got a nice sort of height to it, and then take a lie down onto your back and let's bring it underneath the pelvis. So just resting it here. What this is going to do is it just gives you a different feeling for the back of the body, which is part of the problem. We don't necessarily know where our body is in space, or our brain doesn't know. So we're giving it some more information. So just having your arms down at your side, we're going to rock the pelvis backward and forward. So just doing a tilt where you're about to fall off the towel on one side, and then rolling it forward as though you're going to fall off on the front side. So as we go from opposite sides to opposite sides, you're just getting a sense of moving the hips. Now, depending on how your back is feeling, this shouldn't really feel like it's causing damage to anything. So it's a nice, easy rocking. I often think of like water sloshing up towards my chest and then down towards my feet. So a gentle rocking action. And then we'll come back to a balanced position, and we're just going to tilt that water towards one side and then to the other. So you can let your hip lift off a little bit on the towel side. So dropping down onto one side, create a little bit of a gap on the opposite way. And as we're doing that, my hands are just out of the way so you can focus on what's happening on the pelvis, but you can just be resting your arms at your side. And then we're going to make our diagonal, which is a great way to get a lot of information coming around that lower back area. So you're going to tilt into the left lower back and then tilt forward to the right sit bone or foot. So your diagonal line backward and forward. And pay attention to how your head is. If you notice your chin is up, then tuck the chin in so you feel the back of the neck is nice and long. And then we're going to change the direction. So we'll go to the back of the right hip and forward to the left. And of course, if you did the opposite to me, that's fine. As long as you're going in the two different diagonals is good. And what you will probably find is that one way is easier to move toward than the other. And again, that tells us lots of information about where your patterns are being held, or what muscles could be stressing out, or what joints are a little bit less mobile. And then coming back to find your balanced position. So like I said, that's given the brain so much information about where your pelvis is right now. And the pelvis is part of the lower back because it's connected to the sacrum bone. So my knees are staying in parallel for now, and all I'm going to do is open one knee out to the side. And my aim is to keep everything balanced. So ribs to pelvis is staying connected. Bring the knee up and switch to the other side. So instead of moving from the back, I'm now moving to the next joint, which is the hip joint. So starting to free up in that, so that I'm beginning to ease out, kind of if you were undoing a ball of wool, or like Christmas lights, sometimes you know how they get tangled up. We're just starting to pull on threads and opening up different areas so that we can start to find the release that we need. And then one more time to each side, just getting a gentle opening, remembering that as your knee opens to the side, the other leg needs to stay facing up towards the ceiling. And then next move is to bring your knee up into a tabletop shape. We're going to keep the knee in, and we're going to try and pull it towards you without your pelvis rolling backward. So you want to keep that level position of your hips, and then I want you to shoot your leg out in front, so hovering just off the floor, and then pull the knee back in and stretch the leg out. So if you can notice that when you're moving your leg, you're starting to move your pelvis, then we have to change some things. Maybe we have to put the foot straight back down to the floor, keeping the knee bent. Stage one. Stage two is maybe we reach the leg a little higher and we don't bring it in as deep. And then the final stage would be, can I get the full range low to the floor, close towards me, but without getting that tilting shape happening? This will be our last one, and then we're going to place your foot back towards the mat. Let's switch sides. So again, bringing your knee up, begin to fold it in. So we're making a nice deep crease at the front of the hip joint, and then we're going to stretch the leg away.
And as always, two sides can be so different to each other. So really listening to how your body is talking to you. If you're focusing on keeping the pelvis steady, but you're noticing you're gripping in your upper body, you need to soften in that upper body space. The jaw is soft, the shoulders are soft, the ribs are nice and settled on the mat. Again, if you need to modify the position, you know there are different variations you can do. Last time as we bring the knee in and stretch the leg all the way out, and then bringing it all the way towards the floor. From here, we're going to take the towel, and just put it out of the way. And as you lie here now, you should feel a whole different sensation around your pelvis. So what should be happening is that you've got more awareness, as I said, and maybe there's a sense of heaviness, more contact surface. Maybe there's a sense of spreading. So all of those are options. Next part we're going to do is still keep the towel in the fold. You're going to lift the bottom up and put it in your lower back curve. So ideally, you're going to have your tail now tilted down. So we're going to exaggerate the curve of the spine. If this is not comfortable and you get symptoms of pain or discomfort, don't put it there. Put it back where it was originally under the pelvis. So we're going to do a similar movement, just rocking back into your lower back and then rolling forward. So we're now moving the segmental space up our spine. We started our hips, now we're moving more into our lower back area, getting more joints moving so that we've got more place for the stresses in the body to soften through or to work through. If we're only ever moving in one or two segments, we're always going to be stressing that area out. So we want to really distribute the force through the movement. One more time like that. And then we're going to go into just a little bit more level position. So just feel like your hips are staying nice and level here. Instead of doing the tilt, we're going to make a figure of 8 movement. So you're going to sweep the hips over towards one side, make a loop on the outside, and coming through the center. This works beautifully on a little set of Franklin balls if you have those. I have a series on that too, but this is just so good. And then we're going to change the direction of your figure 8, infinity sign, whatever you see. And notice how your brain started to compute that. Was it easy for you to go the other way? Was your body resisting what you wanted to do? Did your mind get muddled? So all of these things are telling us where your brain needs a little bit more help to know where your body is in space. And then coming back to center, we'll take the towel again away from the back of the body, lie yourself down. And again, just enjoy the deepness of your breath and then feel again that wide spread out. So often when we have problems around an area, so for today it's around our lower back, we all want to go to the lower back because that's the thing that's talking to us the most. But I'm here to tell you we're going to open up other areas so that the lower back doesn't have to be in tension. So we're going to take a roll over to your side, bring your towel with you, and we're going to change the position of the towel. So now what we're going to do is take it into a nice long setting, and we're going to roll it up into a sausage shape and then put it down the length of your back. Sorry, babe. So one line, I'd like you to lie with it at the base of your rib cage area and then resting your head on the top. So you are on the length of the roll of the towel now. So as we lie on it, what's nice about the toweling is that it is going to flatten out with your body weight, but for now it's again just giving that little bit of assist and push up from the floor. Now, if it feels like it's uncomfortable, right now it is for me, I'm going to just move the towel up a tiny little bit higher, and there is a better shape. So please explore what feels good in your body. I don't want you to feel like it's not able for you to breathe or that you feel like you're in a worse position than before. So having the chest nice and open, we're going to send our arms all the way over, reaching towards the top of your mat, and then bringing your arms down. So when we send the arms over, we're creating stretch from the pelvis all the way towards the fingers and then returning. Because we're on the towel, there's a natural opening of the ribs already, and as the arms are going over, they're also opening up in the front of the ribs. So don't be alarmed that that's happening. What we don't want is to feel disconnected. So you still have a sense of reaching from fingers towards your hips, so the connection of your rib to pelvis is still there. You haven't flared and arched into your back unnecessarily. That's the difference, right? We have to let the body move the way it was designed to move, but not to the excess. And then coming back down, we're going to send the arms up towards the ceiling, palms to face each other. Open your arms out to the side, nice wide position, and then bringing back. So quite often when we experience low back pain, it's possibly got to do with tightness in your upper body. So the segments of your upper spine are becoming more and more stuck in the rounded, curved shape. So being able to create variable movement is really important to opening up the whole of the spine. And why is it so important? Well, the spine holds the spinal column or the spinal cord and all the nerves, so we need them to be working well. Turn your palms to be facing towards your legs now, and then bend your elbows towards the mat. From there, roll the arms back in the direction of the floor, and then raise the arms back, fingers to ceiling, and then arms back to the sky. So chest opening as the elbows touch down. Getting good rotation into the shoulder joint as your arms try to make their way back. And I say try because not everyone's going to get there, and that's okay. Depending on what's happening in your upper back will also depend on how your shoulders are organized and then the range that is available for them. We'll go one more time as we lower down and then flip the arms back and then bringing everything again up towards the ceiling. So from here, we're just going to tip off to the side, move the roller out of the way, and just rest yourself back to your starting point. So by now, you're already feeling, I hope, like you've got more space, like you can breathe better, like the tension around that lower back area is easing. Let's find the towel still in the sausage shape, and we'll put it behind the base of your head. So not putting it in your actual neck crease, but right at the base of the skull. So you want to feel the cranium, the occiput, whatever you know this bone to be, and that's going to stay there on the towel. So we're going to go into what we did with our pelvis. We're going to tilt the head up and we're going to tilt the head down. So just creating a little bit of movement through the skull onto the first vertebra. This is a very specialized joint that is designed for nodding. And you're looking to find balance, so not looking for your chin to stay up. That would be creating tension around your neckline, and not too forced down where you're creating too much tension around the back of the neck. So finding your balanced position and then tilting to the left and to the right. So the towel is acting as a surface for your head to get a bit of a massage on. And we don't always have to be very hard. We don't have to have spiky surfaces in order for us to be getting release. In fact, these more gentle approaches are going to be better for you overall. And then coming back to find your center position. From here, like we did with the pelvis, we're going to take our body into a circle. Oh, we didn't do this actually on the pelvis. So here's something new for your head. We're going to make a circle, 3 circles around in each way. And it's really interesting in my own body. I always seem to close my eyes when I do the circle. Otherwise, I get a little dizzy. So making sure that you're not moving the head with your eyes, but moving your head from your head. And then back into the center and staying level. So once you're here, you're just going to grab the edges of the towel and bringing your hands up towards the ceiling. So elbows are pointed forward, and then just pulling on the towel, one of my favorite stretches, just to get a little bit of movement in your upper body, and then lowering yourself back down again. And we'll just do 2 more like that, just to get a sense of length through the back of the neck, down in between your shoulders, and to the floor we go. As you curl up, be sure that your pelvis is not tipping backward. You want to still feel very settled on the back of the hips, and then resting yourself all the way down and releasing the towel out. All right, so from here, we're going to keep our towel position, and we may need to fold it up just so that you've got a little bit more height. Let's actually change that completely so that you've got more of a rolled up towel like so, and then that is for your head. So we'll bend the knees up to 90 degrees so we don't disrupt that lower back. Make sure that you are in a straight line, head down to tail. Because if you're too far forward, then you're going to be on a diagonal and pulling on stresses and stretches. So we're just wanting everything to be as close to the central axis as possible. Top arm is going to do our work for us. We're going to go into a row or a pullback. So you're going to bend your elbow, turn and look in the direction behind you, and then bringing your arm forward and reach it to the front. And pull the elbow and turn to look back, and then draw it forward. One more time like this as we roll it to the back, and then bringing it to the front. All right, while we're on our side, we're going to grab our foot. If you can't grab your foot, you're going to find something that you can do. You may need to hold on to your leggings, or maybe you need a towel, second towel, to hold the foot for you. From here, you're going to start to aim your knee down the length of the mat towards the end, pushing the leg a little bit behind you, and then relaxing that leg forward. And again, sending the leg behind you, creating openings through the front of your thigh and your hip, and then returning. Often when we get low back pain, the muscle at the front of the body here, called the psoas, becomes a little bit too tight because it's trying to hold you upright. So opening into this stretch is going to help lengthen it, plus all the other hip flexors that are involved. Please know, the psoas is not the only muscle that holds you up, and it's not the only hip flexor. They're much more powerful ones than this. And then resting that leg all the way back down. So we're going to flip over and repeat. So just turning yourself around. And again, just getting yourself in position. So head, shoulders, pelvis, everything balanced. Hand on top of hand, and then draw your elbow back, looking behind you as you do, and then reaching the arm a little further forward. And again, drawing it back and looking back, and then bringing it to the front. One last time as we turn to look behind, and then forward we go. Restack yourself, hold on to the base of your foot. So it could be at your ankle, could be at your toes, wherever is the most comfortable for you. So feeling your foot as close towards your bottom is also a good way to get the stretch, but we're sending our leg away from us. So moving that leg back in the direction of the back of the mat, and then releasing. So just like we've been practicing the whole class, as the leg moves, we don't want the pelvis to be thrown forward. So we're going to keep our balance. You could almost imagine that one hip was bolted down onto the next, keeping you steady as your leg just moves around that vertical position. And we've got two more as we're stretching our leg away from us. And again, as we did on, the arms and the legs, noticing how the two sides feel different. You don't have to get worried that they feel different. You just have to appreciate that they feel different, because they are different. And then from here, we're going to go into an all fours position. So coming up onto your hands and your knees. We won't use the towel for now. So just placing your hand structure under your shoulders and your knees underneath your pelvis. So again, our aim is to create mobility and variability around your back area. So going into a curve of your spine, tuck the tailbone under, tuck the head under, get a stretch, feeling it here in your lower back area. And then you're going to go in the opposite way and feeling the stretch coming in your upper spine. So back of the upper spine shortening, front of the upper spine lengthening. And then again, tuck the tail, tuck the head. And then arching, focusing on the upper back, doing the arching. So you don't want to throw your head back, and you don't want to throw your tail up too high. And again, one more time as we curve under and arch out. And then come back to find a more balanced position. So let's go into a little wag of the tail. Look towards your tail as you swing it towards you, and then swing it towards the other side. So moving into a side shortening on one side, lengthening on the other side. And again, just getting these gentle stretches in your body so you're not at your end range of anything, and you're still in a really good, comfortable feeling in your body. And then bringing it all the way back. We're going to tuck our toes under, and we're going to go for a stretch of our legs. So raising the legs to the hips towards the ceiling. Let's start low with your chest close to your thighs, and then straightening one leg down if you can get your heel to the mat, and then bend into that knee, lift the heel, other side, stretch it out, and then bend it back in. And we'll go another 2 to each side as we get that leg getting stretched all the way down. Now, hopefully what you're realizing is through today's session that there are multiple factors that are affecting people's lower back pain. It's not a one fixed solution, but I will tell you that the solution is to move your body in multiple ways, bringing yourself all the way back down. And we want to make sure that everybody is working in both a way of strengthening and stretching. And that's what's going to keep you nice and mobile. So that's all we have for you today. I hope your back feels amazing. I know mine does. And keep feeling strong. Do this multiple times, and always feel free to leave me a comment, like, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again in another video soon. Bye.